Welcome back to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. We had, this is the second time starting this morning. The first live stream got interrupted. And so I'm going to start over, and I'm excited to share with you today's topic, which is humans and nature, and some different perspectives on this COVID epidemic. So I want to first start out by bringing us present. Let's take a few seconds to come here together. Take a deep breath in through your nose and relax as you exhale, feeling the release of any tension in your shoulders and your neck and your jaw, your back. Take another deep breath in and hold it for a second. Imagine all that oxygen coursing through your corpuscles and into your lungs and through your blood and into your tissues, and exhale and relax. Let's bring our palms together softly and just gently rub them together. Feel your fingers, feel your palms, and come here right now. Welcome. Be present. So today I want to talk about the notion of how we view ourselves as separate from nature, and how human beings have fought for dominion over nature and conquest with nature. We're at war with the virus. We're at war with the elements. And I want to invite us all to consider what life would be if we were one with nature and we were one of nature's myriad expressions. For one, I think the shift of paradigm connects us to a greater whole and the truth of things, that we are just one of many, many life forms on this planet, that we are an expression of life within a much grander context that we can even fathom. And what brought this topic to mind is a recent interview that I saw with Zach Bush, who is a triple board certified medical doctor. And he has, he's championing regenerative agriculture, and that's a whole topic I've addressed a little bit, but we want to, I will further again in the future. However, what he posits about COVID-19 and our experience of this pandemic is that it's nature evolving itself. And good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, Dido and Sue and Lisa Phillips. Welcome. Thank you. And thanks for your persistence in checking it out, even though we got a false start this morning. Anyway, I have a podcast called Sustainability Now, and our website is sustainabilitynow.global. And on Thursday nights, we have a movie hangout. And good morning, Christine Tripp. Welcome. And so at this movie hangout, it's at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we do require a registration to be able to gain access to the Zoom links and such. So I'm going to post that link in today's post so that you can register and join us if you'd like. It would be awesome. And even if you're unable to join us, what I really suggest is go find the interview with, I've forgotten his last name, but his first name, but his last name is Big Tree, and the podcast is The High Wire. And so if you can't join us on tomorrow night, please check out this interview. It's amazing. And what Zach is talking about is that viruses are information packets. They're not alive. You can't kill a virus with an antibiotic like you could a bacteria, for example. A virus is not alive. What it is an information packet that is a way for organisms and nature to communicate information for its own evolution. Now, the nature of a virus in many cases is either the host will be able to evolve or die, right? Or eventually the virus takes a toll on the host potentially. And what we're seeing is that we're very susceptible to this virus. If you look at the populations that are threatened by it, they are populations of people that have pre-existing conditions. So this virus serves to exacerbate or weaken the system that is already compromised in some way or another. But the notion is that we are part of nature, and this is actually something I've spoken about before in relation to Nassim Haramein, who's a unified physicist, and our stance as human beings as oppositional to nature and at war with in nature rather than a part of and an expression of nature. And so what if nature were a unified consciousness and we are just one more of the multitude of expressions of nature within this massive consciousness and life organism? And I invite you to really check out this interview. Join us for a conversation tomorrow night. That's Thursday, May 21st, and that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. There is a registration link. I will post it in the notes of this interview, this talk this morning. Sorry that there's so many moving parts this morning. Anyway, I think that to have a new perspective on this virus is something that will be a contribution to all of us, because it shifts the fear and the victimhood around our reaction to this to a place of potentially being able to empower ourselves by taking certain actions. In fact, in this interview, Zach talks about specific things that should be done in response to enhancing our health in the face of this virus and future viruses that are going to present themselves. And when our health is compromised, we become more susceptible, obviously, to other environmental factors. And we need to look at what it means to be working in harmony with nature, to understand what is going on in the way that nature is communicating with itself and with us as a consequence. So I'm getting thumbs up from people. Thank you so much. It's so important because we feel, I think, as a globe right now, like we're at the effect of this thing and that there's nothing we can do about it. But the truth is there are things that we can do, and there are things more importantly than what we can do in this instance, what we can do moving forward to really impact our ability and our capability to rebound and recover and evolve with nature. And so the bottom line conversation here is really that instead of taking an oppositional stance to nature as something that we need to conquer and control, to evolve our awareness so that we are better able to work within the flow of nature, that we are better able to be responsive as part of a greater whole, recognize our position in that, and then we will act less as a virus ourselves on the planet and more as a have more of a symbiotic relationship. So when I talk about acting like a virus on the planet, what we're doing is we're expanding and expanding and expanding and producing, and we're creating all these waste products that are poisoning our environment, which is our host. And so, you know, if you look at the trajectory of our behavior, if we continue on the path that we are currently going, or that we were going before COVID, then you could see that we're doing to the planet what COVID-19 is doing to us in a way. And so let's look at how we can evolve our consciousness to connect more directly with this natural environment, with this collective experience of nature and living as a small part of nature, rather than something or an awareness that is separate from and trying to conquer nature. And this whole movement to a holistic perspective will bring us back to, or bring us into, a greater harmony. Hi, Alice Perez. Alice says, what's the topic about today? And today it has been about our connection with nature and human beings being an expression of nature as a whole, just like every other life form and every other portion of material existence on the planet. And Lisa Phillips says, I so agree 100%. This should be a wake-up call to people. Absolutely, absolutely, it should be a wake-up call. So I am so sorry, because I have to cut this short. I have an appointment at 9:30, and what happened was that we got cut off on the first live. So I will be posting on this post later today the link to register for the meetup with us at Sustainability Now for tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you're not able to find that link and register for it, do look up the interview from the podcast The High Wire with Zach Bush, MD, to get an entirely new and different perspective on what's happening with this COVID epidemic and how we can reposition ourselves and strengthen our resilience for other events that, like this, that may present in the future. So with lots and lots of love and deep compassion for you, I'm so grateful to have you join me. And I hope you'll return again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And in the meantime, take a look and enjoy the other extraordinary programming on Enlightened World Network. Thanks so much for being with me. Take care.